What's going on, guys? Hey, it's Anthony with the Wrenched Out Experiment here in Alaska, and we're going to continue our conversation about the COVID-19 or coronavirus, what Alaska's looking like, a little bit of the news, and a little bit about what we're doing. So you're going to want to stay tuned. Look into this. And then all right, guys, so thank you for tuning in. Again, I'm Anthony. This is the Wrenched Out Experiment. So we are located here in Alaska. If you didn't watch my first video, make sure and check that out. That just essentially highlights kind of what's going on. So it is March 20th right now. Hopefully I'm going to get this video out by this afternoon. And the coronavirus has evolved. I've got some statistics here. Let me pull up this information. I thought that we moved up to 12 cases, but according to what I'm looking at, it says 9. This may still need to be updated. And this is the Health and Social Services Alaska Department. Their counts so far. So Anchorage has 4. It just says travel related 4. Gulf Coast is 1. Interior is 3. Southeast is 1, giving us a total of 9 at this time. How many tests were completed? It looks like 400. Okay, so 451 tests were completed so far. 62 commercial. I'm just running through the statistics. I'll put a link to this down below on this video. So if you're interested in reading up on where we currently are, and this is supposed to be additional updates. So cases of COVID reported in the U.S., by source of exposure, travel-related 337, close contact 321, under investigation 14,561, and then total cases is 15,219. That is a lot. Now, obviously, if you've watched the news or anything else, Italy and all these other places, it's just complete havoc. I don't want to make this a sad, or I guess just the normal COVID thing where people are losing their minds. Myself, my family, were doing well. My wife is working at the hospitals here, supporting everybody. And it's crazy to think my oldest daughter's home from school, of course. Just reading so many of the small businesses that are affected locally and nationally, reading a lot of the curbside purchases, which is cool to see. I was on Dick's Sporting Goods, which isn't here in Alaska, but they're doing curbside pickup. So if you want to order something from Dick's and you're in that local area, go ahead. There is a lot of circulations of, especially here in the Matsu area, with restaurants that are doing the pickup and delivery. So that's nice. And I'm sure and would hope in your local area they're doing the same. Alaska is limited to that. So if you're watching this and you're not from Alaska, you'll probably more than likely have a couple of the local guys that will deliver or do curbside pickup for restaurant style food. And if you are in the need for that. Now, talking about food, my phone was charging. Let me try to show you some photos of, I had to run to Fred Meyer's last night, which is our local grocery store. I guess I didn't take any photos, but I did a few days ago. And so let me play this again. I'm sure it doesn't come out too well. Here's one of many examples. So this was a few days ago because we had to go grab some medicine and whatnot. And then yesterday, what I've been doing is mid to late afternoon, I'll run and grab a couple of items, keep my distance from people, and try to go in and out. Now, what I just showed you, here's another video. I know it's video and it's probably not the best, but this is a couple days ago. Now, yesterday, let me see if I do have some photos. Yesterday here in the Matsu area, Palmer, the shelves were quite empty by comparison to even that. So let me see. No, maybe I didn't take any photos. I think I was just too focused on trying to find stuff. So right now they're quite low on food. The noticeable things to me that are available are pizza, ice cream, and then some of your organic or higher dollar items. I had to get bacon from the deli, which they were running low on, so I got a couple pounds of bacon and a handful of other things, but you really have to kind of start being creative with what you're going to do. Now, I wouldn't say I am short or low on food by any means, but I was trying to get some accompaniments, and again, I had to pick up a couple of items that I needed. I needed printer paper, which is kind of dumb, but I was 100% out, and I've got some stuff that I have to print here at home, and it was one of the things that I just didn't think was on my list. There wasn't a lot of people at the store, which is nice, but seeing the shelves as low as they are, now I'm anticipating that some of these trucks are going to start rolling in and will bulk back up, and then I'm sure there's still going to be some hoarders out there. But I'm hoping that supply chain kind of picks back up. All indications lead to that at this time. I've spoken with some of our large food providers here, as it's a part of my full-time job, and the supply chains have not stopped. So the over-the-road, the barges, all of that are continuing. Now, with the tremendous surge is what we're more or less seeing. We're not seeing a supply chain issue quite yet. What we're seeing is this surge. So in some cases, I was told 5 times the amount of volume purchased. So if you take that into consideration, that means all the stuff that's on the shelf, everything in the back. Now, if you're at a grocery store or retail location, what that means is that's several weeks of goods, because they, as you know, at a grocery store has the stuff for sale in the front, has the stuff in the back to replenish the stuff in the front. So they always give that kind of full look. Now, when they burn through all of it in the matter of days, the orders that they had already placed aren't going to replenish those right away. Now, when you multiply that times 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 20,000, however many stores, there is going to be an impact. And that's what we're faced with now. Now, obviously, there are plenty of other items that everybody still needs, which is the toilet paper deal. I got to start looking at toilet paper. I don't need it quite yet, but toilet paper, and I would highly suggest any kind of medicines or nutritional items. I would highly suggest looking at that. Get your vitamins, get your vitamin C, orange juice, get your milk, whatever it is that's going to help you maintain or get on to a healthy track at this time would probably be a good idea. But what that means to you is to each their own. Some of that stuff is still readily available, so make sure and check your local store. Now, a lot of the stores are also doing kind of a seniors hours, which is very cool to see. Generally, I think it's like 6 to 7, 6 to 8 a.m., Three Bears, Fred Meyer's, and a lot of other locations, allowing the seniors to kind of get what they need, and not having to not only combat people, but hopefully to relieve some of it so they can that social distancing thing isn't as tough on them as it is on the masses, I guess. So that is where we're at today. Again, it is May 20th. I appreciate you guys checking out our videos here. This is not my normal. In fact, I've got a bunch of just goofy videos planned to come out that I'll probably throw out in between shooting these. But if you do like these videos, make sure and give it a thumbs up. Share these. I'll keep making them while this is happening. I'm working from home. I've had some long days. I'm here dealing with some stuff. I do support a lot of our remote services throughout the state of Alaska. I am familiar with what's going on at those, which is the oil fields and a mine and much more. So now that I brought that up, you talk about the oil field services, in which something I feel has been glazed over by the Governor Dunleavy and everything else, to where they're talking about the mass public, which is great, which is very important. I don't find any issues whatsoever with that. Now, the redundant speeches over and over, the repetitive speeches, that to me is just, okay, come on, just get new material or don't talk about it. That's the one thing that did bother me when they were going live. And then, of course, I put this in the comments. I was an active participant in those little talks. I don't know if people cared for what I said, but I said it anyways. The North Slope. So if you're familiar with Alaska, you automatically know what I'm talking about. It is the oil fields in the northern region of Alaska, Kuparuk, Prudhoe Bay, and then the outliers around it. Now, obviously, there has and is new travel stipulations. I know on the BP Hillcorp side, there is pre-screening, which means you'll do screening there at the airport to see if you are able to fly up, because obviously that's A, it's a restricted area. B, you are so close with everyone else. You're eating at large cafeterias. You're eating, and that's oil production. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of people that depend on that. The state depends on the oil flowing and so forth and so on. So I'm not going to go into detail there. On the Conoco side, Conoco has restricted as public information. I'm not going to say anything that's not public, at least in this video. Conoco has restricted. Now, they haven't stopped all, but they have restricted flights north to the Kuparuk side. Southbound flights are still open. And then, of course, you can there are accommodations coming out of Dead Horse as well. So if you do have a loved one or a medical emergency, any kind of family emergency, people are still able to get out. But there are restrictions on flying people in, which you can take whichever side you want. But it is a smart precaution to take following the 2-week kind of buffer zone. So we'll see. I hope that does help. I think that was a smart decision. Obviously, if you had plans during that time, more than likely you were going to stay over and work an extra shift or part of an extra shift, but ultimately keeping you and your coworkers and the other contractors up there safe. So I think that was a smart move. We'll see. Obviously, we still got a couple of weeks collectively as a group, and we'll see what comes from that here in the near future. I think that kind of wraps up. I'm hoping to see some of these groceries and whatnot rolling in. Like I said, I do have some unrelated videos I'll probably drop here at the Rent-Start Experiment. But again, if you guys do like this video, I hope you do. I know that I just kind of glazed over a bunch of things, but I do and can continue doing this if this is something that you care about. I appreciate you guys again, and make sure you're practicing social distancing, washing your hands, take some vitamins, or elect to eat healthy options if possible. You know, get in your vitamin C, what have you. Don't forget though, there's some funny comments on my other video, but one thing I've got to do is get outside more. With work and working in my home office here, there's been moments where I should have gotten outside and did some stuff, and then I get I get dragged back in due to business stuff, and then I'm in here a couple hours, and I need to get outside. So I would encourage you to, get outside. I know it hasn't been the nicest. It was snowing pretty bad yesterday, but today looks like a little bit of sun. I don't know what the temperature is. They're almost 35 degrees for us. That's a warm day. Maybe get out, walk your dog, go for a walk. Someone gets too close to you across the street or what have you. At least it breaks up the day, breaks up the monotony a little bit, or maybe go for a drive, or what have you. So, all right, guys. Well, I hope you are making out okay with the coronavirus here in Alaska, everywhere else in the U.S. and for the world, for that matter. Again, I'm interested. What are you doing to pass time while you have it? If you have it, some of us don't. But if you do have some of that extra time with staying home, what are you doing to pass the time? Drop a comment down below. I'm interested to hear about that. How are you doing? And anything else you want to comment, drop it down below. Again, I appreciate any thumbs up, shares, everything else. I'm Anthony. This is the Rent-Start Experiment. Have a wonderful day. Stay away from each other. Wash your hands. We'll see you in the next video.